Warning. All images appearing in this video are used under the doctrine of fair use for artistic, educational, and documentary purposes. Possession, use, and distribution of cannabis or cannabis-based products is illegal under federal law, regardless of any state law or other circumstance that may legalize or decriminalize such activity. Cannabis is a controlled substance with habit-forming effects. No advice we give is intended to provide any guidance or assistance in violating federal law, nor should be intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any illness.
Welcome back to the Ohio Grassmen Show. Today we're talking about Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express goes back farther than the 2008 movie, and what a gorgeously muddled history it is. It's generally accepted that by the beginning of the 2000s, one of two seed banks cultivated Pineapple Express, a strain crossed between a generally sativa-boosting landrace Hawaiian strain and the genetically robust and well-established Trainwreck, a sativa-leaning hybrid strain. The first story comes straight from Hawaii. Pu'amana First Hawaiian Pakalolo Seed Bank says Trainwreck first showed up there and had to establish itself well because non-native plants usually need a year or two to get rooted in nicely. Realistically, the West Coast was booming with cannabis in the late 90s, legalizing medically left and right in the states, and by the turn of the millennium, Hawaii's legislature itself did it, making them the first state where the state's legislature, their actual representatives, all decided they were gonna make the medical marijuana legal, as opposed to people having to vote it in.
Oh, you nice. Go Hawaii.
Yeah, super cool. During this time, supposedly, an old-school Hawaiian cultivator from Hawaii in the Kohala district got a hold of Trainwreck and crossed it with some local Hawaiian landrace strains. This fits in nicely with the name being a weather phenomenon that runs from the region to the US West Coast. The second one would be G13 Labs. G13 Labs' story is absolutely nothing. I call bullcrap. For some reason, every journalist in the cannabis industry has decided to take a total L on this one and just regurgitate utter nonsense. Supposedly, G13 Labs is the most widely accepted of the two cultivators to have originated the secret pre-movie strain that wandered the West Coast and trickled to Hawaii, except they don't even really push the claim too hard themselves. There isn't some legendary markup about it, and if I had the claim to the legendary Pineapple Express, I'd have a nice front page about it. No, they just have a blurb on the page of the seeds they're selling that says it is the legendary strain. You okay? Shout out to Rye Pritchard with the Thrillist. He's the only one that seemed to also openly say that there was no actual evidence that G13 Labs should be the one that's the sole proprietor to create this legendary strain.
Yeah, you would have that like on the front page of whatever you're trying to sell. Like,
we did it! We did it! You know Pineapple Express?
That was me.
I'm the pineapple.
Yeah, right? A writer of the film of the same name, which sprung the strain into popularity, does dispute this, stating that it didn't exist until they made it up to make the film. While this is supposedly proven incorrect, as it was sold at some dispensary medical menu once or twice before the film, it does not seem it was ever a major strain in a commercial sense until the film came out. It exists now, and it certainly gained much traction and many supposed Pineapple Express grifts, the popularity causing many on the black market to use the name for a hot buck. In fact, while G13 Labs established it as a sativa-leaning hybrid cross of Trainwreck and a Hawaiian landrace, it seems they now have a skunkier indica cross blended in their available seed banks. Barney's Farm seems to be sticking to the roots of the strain with their Trainwreck cross with Hawaiian. Pu'amana First Hawaiian Pakalolo Seed Bank also seems to keep pretty true to their sativa-leaning roots. Despite all of the discrepancies, the usual sativa-dominant hybrid known for its fruity taste and aroma and uplifting effects is also usually snagging an award when it can. These are usually more of a nod to the cultivator than the cultivar. However, a Pineapple Express has won Best Medical Non-Solvent Hash at the 2014 Seattle High Times US Cannabis Cup. In 2017, its autoflower version won first place at Chile's Copa Aniversario Amigos del Cannabis, second place finish at the 2018 Earl Cup, and third in the vape pen category at the NorCal Cannabis Cup. Another won a 2022 Swiss Cannabis Cup trophy for Best Indoor CBD Flower. It's getting across the board. It's pretty solid, you know? I mean, it just really sets those accolades across its entire history, whether it's something that's slightly different but still trying to aim towards those roots of that phenotype. It's something that you can gather that it's a good idea.
Right.
This sativa-leaning hybrid that is, you know, the fruity Pineapple Express.
I'm starting to notice kind of a trend among these where there's kind of disputed origins.
Everyone wants the claim to the name, right?
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good.
I have a feeling that's going to persist as we keep doing these episodes.
Yeah, the popular flower that we know as Pineapple Express is very dominant in myrcene, which gives it a very earthly aroma. The other friends that help bring this entourage together are caryophyllene, pinene, and ocimene that help complement the earthy aroma with some bold citrus.
Yeah, that's a lot of good boosters.
Yeah.
Myrcene makes things come on and onset really quickly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of that focus, so I can see that it keeps you from like falling asleep or getting out of there and still having it really fast. So it
And one
probably
of
feels
them
really
makes
powerful.
Julian cough a lot.
Yeah, that's true, but also a little bit of decongestion and anti-anxiety.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
caryophyllene, yeah.
With terpenes like that, it's no wonder it got so popular. People are using the strain to help with depression, pain, fatigue, stress, and anxiety, on top of it tasting great. So it's also used to remedy a handful of ailments.
I dig it.
I have been seeing some people say that it causes dry mouth and dry eyes, so keep a drink nearby and maybe watch like a sad movie or something to keep your eyes working.
Well, definitely a drink. I don't know about the sad movie.
Well, maybe take a nap or something.
Maybe some eye drops.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to drink and eye drops, and then you have to go, okay, well.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to get caught doing eye drops.
Yeah.
The name Pineapple Express originally referred to the meteorological phenomenon where warm, moist air flows from Hawaii to the west coast of the United States, often causing heavy rainfall. While the phenomenon was happening, Pineapple Express, the strain, was claimed to have originated in Hawaii and the west coast while being impossible to find and a mythic strain. Pineapple Express was originally said to have been cultivated by G13 Labs back in early 2000s. But as Ross was saying earlier, we heard that, Pau Mau?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe have
crap.
gotten that first, but the strain hit the market and did not get a lot of traction in the market immediately due to the demand being low and dispensaries not being widely available yet. It was back in early 2000s. We didn't really see much back then.
Yeah, The Matrix came out around that time.
Pineapple Express, the movie, actually gave Pineapple Express, the strain, the recognition and the demand for such a marijuana to hit the market. The movie created a legendary strain that many sought out to find and many cultivators sought to create. While viewers believed the strain to be made up, the truth was that Pineapple Express was becoming news through word of mouth between the cultivators. The cultivation industry decided to try to meet those demands and finalize the Pineapple Express we know today. G13 Labs perfected that genealogy with Trainwreck's cerebral energy and euphoria with Hawaiian's tropical citrus flavor, that crossbreed that brings us Pineapple Express. At the time of Pineapple Express's release, the strain was mainly word of mouth and not a high demand in the dispensary market, though after the movie's release, the demand significantly spiked.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine.
Where's that?
Oh, I'll try that out. That looks good.
Seth Rogen even mentioned in an interview about the movie that they thought the name sounded cool, but they didn't know if it was an actual strain or not. While the movie was directed towards a wider audience rather than just the stoner populace, it procured an exponential recognition about Pineapple Express from every walk of life. So we had stoners and action movies, and normies talking about it a lot. Most users say the strain is anti-anxiety inducing, a phenomenal cranial, mind-blowing head rush, and pain relieving, but not comatose inducing.
I hope not.
A super calm yet energetic effect overall, legendary effect similar to the movie. Pineapple Express gained a lot of traction with cultivators because of the adaptability and vigor of the robust bush that comes from its seeds. It also is great for any level of cultivator as it can be indoor or outdoor grown. It is mold resistant and it is naturally spacious of itself. Pineapple Express is said to have been the first major stepping stone to normalizing cannabis through humor, accessibility, and familiarity. Without these key pieces, we would probably see a market overflowing with unfamiliarity and overwhelming news by word of mouth.
The fact that it naturally spaces it out, I wonder if is some genetic that it picked up from those Hawaiian landrace strains, that are naturally growing throughout, a landrace being a naturally growing throughout the area strain.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I'm calling them Hawaiian landrace strains.
Right.
Like, they're just like naturally
I guess I just figured
growing,
that was the name of the strain, Hawaiian landrace.
Certainly, no. So it's called Hawaiian, is what most people call it, because they're generally all pretty close to each other or whatever. But it's like those Bhutanese. Those were called landrace strains because they're just naturally wild-growing cannabis strains.
Okay, cool.
They don't have like a name because nobody cultivated them to be like, this is Hawaiian.
The stuff that occurred naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, that's super cool.
It's very fun.
What do you know?
Yeah, they're racing across the land.
Reaching out, getting all the sunlight that they can.
He's dressed as a blunt today.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
I'm a pineapple.
He's in the middle of getting freaked.
Is this the cancer paper? Should I take
Wyatt-
this off?
Wyatt wasn't supposed to tell that.
Well, with that in mind, that wraps up our sesh for today. Thanks everybody for kicking back with us for this episode. And tune in next Friday at 4:20 for our podcast where we'll try the strain ourselves and give you a review.
I'm so excited for that.
Right?
Me too.
Remember, you can find all of our episodes on YouTube and Spotify, on our Twitter and Instagram. You can find photographs of everything we review, as well as keep up to date with our show and the cannabis community. And if you really like what we're doing right now, you can become a patron, gain access to bonus and uncensored content for just $4.20. We'll see you at the next sesh, and let us know in the comments if there's anything you want us to check out, learn about, or what you've been trying.
We love you.
Warning. All images appearing in this video are used under the doctrine of fair use for artistic, educational, and documentary purposes. Possession, use, and distribution of cannabis or cannabis-based products is illegal under federal law, regardless of any state law or other circumstance that may legalize or decriminalize such activity. Cannabis is a controlled substance with habit-forming effects. No advice we give is intended to provide any guidance or assistance in violating federal law, nor should be intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any illness.